We've all heard about the Dr. Google phenomenon, and now it's really starting to disrupt the way GPs refer to specialists. Why is that? Because it's a reality. Patients hear about something when they speak to their GP, and then they start Googling, or they Google before they go and see the GP. So there's this constant back and forth between actually consulting a healthcare specialist or a GP and the reality of consumers using Google. So let's look at 3 different case studies. Number 1, patient sees the GP, and the GP mentions that this lady could have fibroids. Lady starts Googling and lands on one of the content pages of a local gynecologist and reads up on causes, symptoms, treatment, and in that process clicks through to the About page and gets to know you, the specialist, if that's your content. So there's one example of that interference. There might be a GP referral at play, and when the patient starts Googling and lands on a specialist's page, there might be a change in terms of the choice that the patient makes. Example number 2, you go and see the GP. Well, the patient goes and sees the GP, and there's discussion about knee arthritis and whether surgery might be needed or not. And in that process of exploring whether the patient needs or does not need surgery, there's a lot of Googling going on, and again, the patient lands on a number of web pages and probably will start changing their opinion about what needs to happen, what can happen, what could be the choice. And the better the information is organized, and mind you, this here is a great example of content being presented almost like a magazine article with short videos, with plenty of citations, so you get to know the surgeon. That starts to shape the mind and the opinion of the patient, so that when the time comes to actually use the referral, this might drive the choice, and the patient might choose this specialist, the specialist who has given this really valuable information and who was able to convince the patient that maybe surgery is not needed. So those things are at play in that process. Maybe the patient sees a surgeon on TV because they were able to reattach a man's hand, and that story sort of hooks the patient, and then you Google the specialist and go like, well, this plastic and reconstructive surgeon, well, wow, he's an authority for me. And as a patient, you might be influenced by that information. So influencing the GP referral stream, that's what this is all about. And you don't have to become an old school influencer like Cristiano Ronaldo and have a profile where you put your entire private life up there and you go, well, this is me at my best. That is not the type of influencer status we're talking about. As a specialist, your influencer capacity is built by tailoring your digital presence so it attracts traffic and it converts leads and it plants a seed. So when the time comes when a GP is referring, there is an influence. So that is actually why leading doctors start thinking not about referrals versus digital, but referrals and digital. That is the change in mindset that you can start applying to build a more resilient, more future-proof private practice.